Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of Tell Me a Story. This comes from a guy named Nick that I met in Wright Park in Tacoma, and I think this is the perfect place to start. I love going to Wright Park. It's kind of my place to go to make music or read or hang out with friends. But on this particular day, I went because I was feeling isolated and I needed a space to think about things. So I went there in search of some clarity. And not 5 minutes after sitting down, a man approached me asking if I wanted to do some spiritual work. And I agreed. So he sat down and proceeded to tell me the story that you're about to hear. And it was in this moment that I pulled out my phone to record because I knew that I would want to revisit his story and then later share it with others too. But I didn't know how I was going to do that until right now. So enjoy. Thanks.
Trip. Like, I look up to that man so much, and he gives me like this credit of like he only wishes, and it makes me it kind of, and then you give it time, and you're like, this man's genuine. You know, his backstory follows.
What did he say to you? Did he know that you were gonna do what you were planning on doing?
So we get into he shows me his cell phone first thing. Says, can I ask you a couple questions? He says, you ever see this picture? And I'm like, oh, he's a cop. I'm like, oh shit. And it's a back picture of the case on his phone. And it looks like the old Spyver spy logo.
Okay,
like
yeah, sure, yeah.
But it was just like a really toned down version of Jesus of a man knocking on a door with no handle. And it signifies that, God's always there if you want to believe in him. You have a testimony that that you have to open that door and let it in. It's not a possession. It's not an over. The control is not just one person. Like witchcraft. There's a way to take demonic possession over parts of people. With voodoo dolls, if they believe in it, there's things where they say they can move limbs and make people sit up in the middle of the night. Like you hear some hocus pocus.
Right.
If you believe in the good, you have to believe in the bad, right?
Right.
But if you're going to believe in anything, well, you got to study them all because you got to know what you don't like first.
Yeah.
So how do you know you're not a fag? He's like, well, have you ever kissed a guy? No. Well, then how do you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. Life is a lot more about.
You're a Mormon? How do you know you're a Catholic? How do you know you're a Jew, a Protestant, an evangelist?
I used to think, I think especially my generation, we're brought up believing that it's like life is all about going out and finding what you like and what you love and your passion and your desire. It's in my experience, it's like, that is true, but at the same time, what's almost more important is having all the experiences of the things that you don't want to spend the rest of your life doing. or experience, not being closed off to things that regardless of if you like them or if you find them valuable, you could still learn something from it.
Right. It's good to know bad things.
Yeah, it is really good.
Because you know what you don't want. But let's chase that horn real quick. I think that might be the guy trying to take me to rehab. You have a phone probably, huh? You're all responsible.
I wouldn't go that far.
My goal has been treatment for a while. And it just fell in my lap today while I was looking for a side job, trying not to be abandoned. Maybe I'll ask for some honest work. This place smells like paint. I'm a hell of a painter. You probably can't afford me, but fuck it, I'll waste my time anyway. And I talked to him. And I'm like, I want $75 an hour.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? And I was like, I'm going to charge you for this interview. He's like, well, really? I was like, yeah. I don't do bids for free. I'm not going to step onto a job or talk shop with somebody just so that they can go price check and spot hop with somebody.
Right.
You call me there, it's because you want me there. and you need me to paint something. Give me your colors, tell me what you want, and go away and let me do it. But it never happens that way because the homeowners need to see every bit and piece of the way. And you have questions, things happen. New construction as opposed to old construction, restoration, and beautification is the only way to go when it comes to that. Painting. I hate it because I'm tall.
Yeah.
I always end up doing it. I like welding. A pipe fitter, journeyman, and then I've always wanted to get the Boilermaker badge. I have crawled around in a few nuclear power plants.
Wow.
Like literally like this. I'm fucking a long skateboard with my welding whip.
Yeah.
Fucking cruising through this place before they fucking turn it on or fix whatever it was that they're fixing. And you got like 3 miles of pipe you're rolling around checking shit.
Doesn't sound like the best line of work for a tall guy.
Well, I mean, you get in spots where you can't get a ladder in there. You're lucky you even get your whip in there.
That's a good point, yeah.
You know, in an air-cooled hood. You'd be grateful and patch that hole, boy, and get the fuck out of there. No way. So where were we at?
I don't know. Oh, you were telling me about the guy on the bridge?
Right. Okay, so this is the... Jesus is knocking at your door is what we'll call it.
Right.
For the sake
The picture.
of compartmentalizing it. Okay? So he's like this. He says, "Hey, Nikki, can I call you Nikki?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So you see this? Says the thing. And says, "Well, do you believe in God? Do you? Do you believe in God?"
In some way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's fair to say that you know there's something out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly that, yeah.
And this picture is it's actually Jesus knocking at the door, and only you can let him in. And thirdly, can I pray with you? And before I pray, what would $10,000 do for? I wrote you a check right now for $10,000 and handed it to you. Would it pay off your debts? Would it? Would it pay off your car, your school loans, student loans? Like would 10 grand clear up your debt?
For me?
Or would it at least help?
It would help. It wouldn't entirely, but it would definitely. It'd be about half,
It'd
maybe.
give you a chance to save up something.
Sure.
At least,
Yeah.
right?
That's
you were frugal
true.
with it and used it.
Yeah.
Not just blow it on hookers and.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So. At the time, I had no debt. Money doesn't fix my problems, Scott. Creates them. All my life, more money, more problems. Sister's one of those legal law hounds. Like the female attorney you want because she's a bitch. She says, "I eat dick for a living." She loves that fucking Big Brother's or stepbrother.
Oh yeah.
It's a fucking Catalina wine mixture, man. His brother's like friend at work, just like constantly, just as foul as someone could be. So back to. All right. Let me have a little bit more water, and I'm gonna break this down all the way
Some more?
in order in play.
Cool.
Okay, so
yeah, he says $10,000. What will that do for you?
And you know, I spit off my answer. And tell him, money. It wouldn't do nothing because I don't have nothing I need.
Right.
Only thing I need is to jump off this bridge in my life. And I'm not saying this to him. At no point do I at all tell this man, "Hey, I'm depressed and I think I'm going to kill myself."
Right.
You know? I didn't verbalize it to anyone. Write it down, leave proof or evidence, you know.
Mhm.
I made up my mind. That's all there was to it.
Mhm.
And then this schmuck gets me up on the bridge from Ireland, Dublin, Ireland, out of all places. Some newfound IRA Irish gangster stops me on a bridge and says, "Do you believe in God?" And I'm like, "What?" I've heard everything.
Yeah.
I gotta give this guy 5 minutes.
It's like, do you believe in God? The
Right.
IRA guy?
Right, you know what I mean? He's got, you know, all the right tattoos in all the right places.
Yeah, yeah.
And so this guy, and this is the moment of clarity, he puts his hands on me. He says, "Can I put my hands on you and pray with you?" My friend here, sometimes he prays in tongues.
Mm.
I'm like, "Tongues? He's not gonna like kiss me." He's like,
Yeah.
No. He's all, it's just it's like a chant, so don't be
Yeah.
afraid. And both of them pray with me, put their hands on me. And in his prayer, man, I mean, it's some of the stuff's so personal I don't even like to
Mm-hmm.
reiterate. It just came out of him. He
Mm.
had this vessel that he tapped in and like plugged into me like a phone and downloaded my whole like everything.
Mm-hmm.
And was just like, yeah, and that too, God help him. Banish it from his mind, his body, his thoughts, his soul, and put a hedge of protection around this man.
Mm.
And give him hope. And convince him not to kill himself today. And when the second he said that, dude, my gut dropped to the floor,
Mm.
and I couldn't stop crying.
Mm.
Because something had happened there. Maybe it was, you know, some... I can't even say maybe it was some hocus pocus, because it wasn't. It was
Right.
a spiritual experience that I had with this man. Never met him before in my life.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "Okay, you know, cool. Let me get a picture. You know, prayers are good. You know, it's all about Jesus. What are you doing?" I says, I reckon I was going to jump off that bridge and kill myself. I didn't really have too many other plans.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Uh-huh.
He's like, "You like coffee?" I was like, "Of course I like coffee." "You like coffee?" "I like coffee." "Who doesn't like coffee? Come on, let's
Right.
get some coffee."
Mhm.
So we go for a walk, go get coffee.
Yeah.
And it's the longest walk I've ever been on in my life. It's just a kind of coffee shop. We're in the middle of downtown Portland.
Uh-huh.
But we just got into talking, and me being a mentor to him and what he does, following around like a shadow, and being just teaching me and guiding me and walking beside me and showing me what he was about,
Mm-hmm.
so that I could make a decision. I have no clue. You know, as far as I knew, he could. At that point, I'm like, he says he's got some boys. He's out here for some convention.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just some. You know, this is all too good to be true thing, right? Then we get to the coffee shop. We stop. Get a meet up with his mates, his friends. Everybody's on their phone. T9. And he says, "This is Christian. Christian owns NBC News, Texas. He's a good friend of mine. He's helping me and my family get their passports taken care of from Ireland. I want you to tell Christian what you told me." And he shows Christian. He shows him a picture that he took of me that I didn't know he had. He's like, "Here, this is a good one." I'm like, whoa, slow down. What's going on here, guys? Why do you like me?
Yeah.
Stop helping me.
Right.
We go outside to smoke a cigarette. I'm the only one that smokes in the group.
Mm-hmm.
And Christian says, "Oh my, what is your inside seam?" I said, "What?" He says, "Your coat size."
Yeah.
"What's your inside seam? Don't you have a suit?" I says, Bro, I'm a bum that's been on the run, that spent too much money and had way too much fun. Now I'm ready to, you know, just hit instead of hit click and delete, I was just gonna jump."
Right.
He's like, "Okay, well, hold on." and he figures out my size, gets on the phone with somebody for hike. A second does the thing and he talks to the guys that are with him in the group, and they're just like, I'm gonna run. I'll be right back. I'll send a car to get us to the show.
Right.
Shows, whatever. Blah blah blah. You know, they had to go and hit the green room. You know, it was showtime. These guys were in the business.
Oh.
You know, I picked up on that pretty quickly. Something. You know, there was you know, there's a convention going on. They were
Right.
to be a part of this thing. You know, like kids getting ready to go see an NSYNC concert at Roller Valley.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
you're
yeah.
a kid, you're like, whoa. We're way too excited. And but no, man, you can never be too excited about God and your testimony.
Mm-hmm.
So as my mind's being blown, right?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm having like one-on-one conversations with different people in the group.
Yeah.
I still have no clue who any of these guys are.
Uh-huh.
As far as I'm concerned, they're just a bunch of like network marketing fucking weasels.
Yeah,
You know, trying to sell me on some